Hi! In this video, I'm gonna share with you every detail about my experience with Indigo Airlines during the training period. So, starting from food, accommodation, to how much stipend we got paid, and everything else. So, let's begin. First things first, the training is of total of 3 months, and it might take longer if you don't finish it in one go. Let's say you fail a module, or you had to take a sick leave, or something comes up. So in that case, it might stretch a little bit longer, but if you finish it in one go, it takes only 3 months. And do not worry about failing, because if God forbid you fail the first attempt, they do give you a chance. They actually give you total of 3 chances. So everybody actually are able to complete the training. There's nothing to be worried about. It's not rocket science. Yes, you have to study a lot, but that's there. Now that brings me to number 2, that is how many modules are there. So there are a total of around 9 modules, if we put it that way. And they are, number 1 is communication. That is very important. You start with communication. It goes around for like 10-11 days. Then we have POIS, which is your grooming. So there is POIS 1, POIS 2, MRD and FRD, and that's mid-review day and final review day. And total, I think we have 5 sessions of POIS in total. So that's the second module, I would say. We have first aid, because you need to know how to save people on board. Then we have something called the basic indoctrination, and that is all about equipments in the aircraft for our safety. We have something called DGR, that is Dangerous Goods Regulation. We have something called the AVSEC, which is Aviation Security, where we learn a little bit about the history of civil aviation of India and a little bit about the world. We have a module called the Airbus, where we learn about the aircraft. And we also have emergency. We have drills. So all those videos you have seen online of people doing the ditching drill, that is in the swimming pool, and also sliding down the slide raft, all those drills are covered in the emergency module. We also have aircraft visits, and we have 2 exams. One is the Indigo exam and the other is the DGCA. DGCA is Director General of Civil Aviation, and you have to clear that. If you want to be a crew, you have to clear that. And Indigo is basically the same exam. It's taken before, it's prior we give the DGCA exam, so that nobody fails the DGCA exam, because you've already cleared Indigo once. So that's there. And after you are done with all of this, only and only then comes customer service. So a huge misconception that we will be taught how to serve, and the entire training is going to be about how you serve customers. Of course, it is about how you serve customers, but that's only the last 15 days, okay? So don't be in a misconception that 3 months you're going to learn how to make coffee and how to serve coffee. That's all about the modules. Now let's come to number 3, that is your accommodation and transport, perhaps. So accommodation, for the first 14 days you do get a hotel, which will be closer to your training center, and you will get transport throughout your training. So from when you're staying in the hotel, you'll get it from the hotel. Once you move out to a PG or apartment or anywhere that you're living with your relatives, you will get a transport facility from there. That would be pick up and drop. If you're from Delhi, of course you can take that hotel if you want to, which will be in Gurgaon. So if you don't want to travel from Delhi every single day, then you can take the hotel. If you are okay with traveling from your home right from the beginning, that's also fine. You will get the transport, and I think they send their transportation till quite far. I think Noida, even Ghaziabad and Vaishali, I think all those places are covered. Like Delhi NCR, the entire place is covered. So don't worry if you're someone who is not from Delhi NCR and you're living in Delhi with a relative or something like that. Like for my case, I was living with a friend who lived in South Delhi. I did get the service, and it would just be a little longer, too much time in transport, but yeah, if you want to stick to that option, you have that option. And about the accommodation, yes, you only get it for 14 days, unfortunately. For every department, it is different. So let's say you have heard from a friend or a friend of friend or some video about the accommodation, and they have said that they get it for so and so amount of time or the entire amount of time. Make sure they are also crew from the same company if you want to believe to the information, because ground staff, for criteria for ground staffs are different. Maybe they get full 1 month of training accommodation during the training period. For flight deck crew, it's different. So make sure you're registering the correct information. Yes. Number 4 would be the grooming standards. Now, what you need to wear, what makeup you need to put during the training. So you can wear formals, okay? You can wear anything that is decent. They do not let you wear trousers during most of the year. Only during winters are we allowed to wear trousers, because that is not the dress code. And Delhi winter is pretty cold, so that's why it's okay to wear trousers then. But otherwise, you're supposed to wear a tunic or a skirt with a formal shirt. You can wear something, let's say I'm wearing this, I can wear this to work as long as like the neckline is not so far, it's maybe here or something, and I pair it up with a jacket or a blazer, so something that has collars, right? So it's not mandatory to wear blazers. If you don't want to wear blazers, don't wear blazers. As long as you have collars, it's good. You have to wear a scarf, okay? And you have to have good makeup according to their grooming standards, and they do teach you how to do the makeup, because they have a specific guideline for it. Certain eye makeup, eye look, certain shades. And yes, every single makeup product that you use has to be from certain brands. So let's say there are 5 brands, they'll tell you those 5 brands, and you have to buy everything from there, okay? And it is, I don't know, it seems a little far-fetched, but when you're going for training, do not buy anything. Don't buy new makeup and go, or don't buy any makeup at all. Just if you're someone who did not have any makeup, let's say you don't have a foundation or a concealer or anything at all, don't buy it, okay? Just carry a lipstick, carry eyeliner or something, and go there. Buy a BB cream and go there, okay? And when you get the list and they tell you how to do your makeup, then and only then buy the makeup and use it, because there's no point buying new expensive makeup and going there and then you find out that you can't use it, right? So if you're not into makeup, don't buy too many makeup. And if you have already, let's say some basic, or you're someone who is into makeup and has a lot of products, you can take it, and maybe you will find common brands and common shades or whatever. So yes, formal attire all the time, except for a few modules in case of emergency, and I think we have a self-defense class. During those times, you're allowed to wear jeans and sneakers because you have to do a lot of physical movement, right? So other than that, it's mostly just formals, proper makeup, and a few accessories are very important. Correct watch, a scarf, stud earrings. It is very important. And down to the nail paint, they do have recommended shades. So again, don't buy anything that you don't need to. Go there. They also have vendors. You can buy it from them. You can buy it from outside. It's not much of an hassle, so you're good to go. Now, the next one is how much do we get paid? Now, stipend is actually very less. It is not gonna be useful at all. Let's say you are in a PG and you pay 8k a month or 9k a month. You are not saving anything. So I don't know the exact amount for the stipend that you will get, because you must be, or maybe you will be joining after I've posted this video, and the stipend amount might have gone up or down. But how much did I get? I got around 13k, 13 point something. They pay you for only the days you have actually physically been present. So let's say out of 30 days, you joined on the 10th day of the month, right? So you will get paid only for 20 days. Or let's say that you were at work for 18 days and then you took a sick leave, so you couldn't come for the rest of the month, so you only get paid for the 18 days. So that's how it is calculated. But yeah, in your contract the amount for the stipend will be written much more, but then it's not in hand, so you will get something around 13 to 15, not more than that, and that is not enough to survive in a place like Delhi. But again, it's not your salary, it's just your stipend, and it's just 3 months, so it will increase. And do not worry so much, although money is a huge factor, but I think you can keep it aside for like 3 months, and once you start flying it gets so much better. They pay you well. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Next is your base. So a lot of people keep asking if we can choose our base or what base I am. I am based out of Bangalore, and there are a lot of airports. Do not get confused. There are a lot of airports, but not all airports have bases. So you have Delhi base, Bombay, Kolkata, Bangalore, Kochi, Hyderabad, I think Pune. No, not sure. Pune does not have a base. No, I could be wrong. We have Lucknow base. So we have few airports which have bases. Now, can you choose which base you want? Essentially, yes, you can choose only if there is an availability or an option ki choice hai. Okay, so when I got my call from the HR, I was just told that my base would be Bangalore. Okay, and we were at the time of interview we were told that please don't expect, my interview was in Kolkata, and we were told that don't expect that you'll get Kolkata base because we are hiring for bases in South India. So I already knew that my base could be Chennai or Kochi or Hyderabad or Bangalore. Now the people who were with me, they did get a chance of choosing. So they were called and they were given a choice between, would you like to take Ahmedabad or Hyderabad or Bangalore or Bombay. So in my batch, mostly people were from Bangalore base, but we did have a couple from Hyderabad, some from Ahmedabad, and also Bombay. Delhi base, it's really tough to get Delhi base on your first go. I don't think any newcomers are ever given Delhi base. No trainee is given Delhi base right in the beginning. So people in Delhi base are always experienced crew. So if you're someone from Delhi and you get assigned, let's say Hyderabad, you can put in a request for a swap, or you can physically find somebody in the training center who has a Delhi base and ask them, request them for a swap. That can work, but you'll have to find your ways. So that's about the base. Now, one more thing about clearing the exams. So once you are not able to clear the exams, what happens then? Then you get relegated. So relegation is basically you will be put into some newer batch where you'll have to repeat the module. When can you get relegated? In a lot of different circumstances. If you're late to class, you can get relegated. You cannot afford being late to class at all. If you don't pass an exam, if you miss one day of class, sometimes, very rarely though, we have virtual sessions. Okay, maybe in your entire training you might have 1 or 2 days or 3 days, or maybe not at all. You might or might not have a virtual session, and let's say you do not join that, or you join that and you're not active, and the teacher is calling your, the instructor is calling your name, and you don't respond, and your camera is off or whatever, you might get relegated. Okay. About leaves, I did not cover that. You get 1 day or 2 day off. It's not like you get offs on Sundays or Saturdays. It could be any day. It could be a Wednesday that you have a weekly off, right? So other than the weekly off, you cannot take even 1 day off during the entire 3 months. Now, what if you have a family emergency? You can take an emergency leave and go back home, but that means that you have been relegated to another batch. Now, I don't think if you actually have an emergency, I don't think a training or a job should stop you from going and attending it. You should go and attend because life is very uncertain, so don't risk that. And it's not the end of the world. Sometimes people get relegated and they come back stronger, and it's easier to do. It's fine. And for the record, even I have been relegated, and not because I failed an exam, but because I had to come back for a very specific reason, which I will maybe or maybe not, reveal it at the end, or maybe in the next video. Okay, so I will reveal what is it, something important at the end of the video. But yes, so relegation is not a big deal. And how much marks do we need to pass an exam, right? So we need 90%. Only for ABSEC and DGR, I think it's 80%, but you have to get 90% marks for sure. Mostly it is MCQ. I think only DGR is a written paper, that is dangerous goods regulation. It's a written paper, but it's an open book exam. So if you fail in that one, it's really on you. You cannot fail an open book exam. Just pay attention in class, just note down what information is given in the book, and you're good to go, right? Rest of the exams, you usually have 2 exams, like a mid-review thing in the middle of the module. They'll see how much you've understood, and then you have your final review, and you also have Viva. For certain modules you have Viva, for certain modules you don't have Viva. Self-defense, it's a physically you have to perform that self-defense against the trainers, and you have to show them, right? So it's all about that. Again, during the drills, if you refuse to do something, let's say if you refuse to jump into the pool while there is the ditching drill going on, the instructor will tell you once, twice, and thrice maybe, and if you still say no, I'm scared, I won't do it, you might get relegated. It is really on the instructor, and it depends, it varies. Not everything is so strict, but yes, there is certain discipline and certain way how things go. So make sure you listen to what people have to say, and people there are really friendly. Okay, I wouldn't say friendly is not the right term, but really helpful and resourceful, very professional. So if you really need help, don't hesitate, talk to anybody, talk to anyone who's walking on the corridor, approach people, they'll help you out. So not a big deal. I hope I have answered all the queries that you might be having. If you still have questions, comment down below. I will be more than happy to help, and you can reach out to me on Instagram. I have actually replied to every single person. If anybody who I have already replied in Instagram and y'all are watching again, y'all can assure other people in the comment section that I actually reply and I actually help. So I'll be more than happy and more than willing to do the needful. And now the last and most important thing, a huge piece of news that I have that I want to share is I don't know why I'm building this up, but it's a big deal. I have actually left Indigo. Why? I'll tell you that in the next one, because this video is already way too long. I have met amazing people, but after being in the company for 6 months, including my training, that is, I have decided to leave the company. I don't know, let's not say anything more here. Maybe in the next video, if you want to know why, I'll tell you. If you don't want to know why, it's fine, you can skip. But I will see you guys next time, and till then, take care. Bye.